Main risk factors for preventable chronic diseases are tobacco use, lack of physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. The risk factors have caused unpreventable and preventable diseases like disability and death. To reduce these risk factors, prevent diseases or injury before it ever occurs, reduce the impact of a disease or injury that has already occurred, soften the impact of an ongoing illness or injury that has lasting effects. We all need to invest our time and money in improving healthy lifestyle behaviors by increasing physical activity and improving our diet. By doing this, almost 35% of early deaths will be avoided. Our integrative nutrition health specialist, Betty Olayinka Folarin, advocates for this every Sunday on Health Corner and Nutrition segments showing on Healthy Living with Bofa Channel every Sunday, 2 p.m. U.S. time, 7 p.m. UK and Nigerian time, 8 p.m. South African time. See you there.
Foodborne illness are 6 highly infective pathogens that can easily be transmitted by human beings through contaminated food. Today, I will be speaking on the 6 pathogens that can contaminate our foods and cause illness. And these pathogens are called Big 6. What are these Big 6? Let me bring you full information on that after the break. I'm Bofa, and this is Healthy Living with Bofa Health and Nutrition Talk Show. And thank you so much for joining us today. Let's take a break. Welcome back, viewers, to Bofa Health and Nutrition Talk Show. As it was earlier said, our focus today is on Big 6. Big 6, the pathogens that can be transmitted through contaminated food. That is what Big 6 are. These pathogens include Norovirus, Hepatitis A, Shigella, E. Coli, Salmonella Typhoid, and Non-typhoidal Salmonella. Now, let me break it down. Let me tell you more about these bacteria one after the other. And I will start with Shigella. Shigellosis is an infectious disease caused by a group of bacteria called Shigella. Most who are infected with Shigella develop diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps starting a day or two after they are exposed to the bacteria. Illness caused by Shigella usually resolves in 5 to 7 days. And food most often associated with Shigella outbreaks are salads and sandwiches that involve a lot of hand contact in their preparation and raw vegetable contaminated in the field, which means Shigella can be contracted from all these fast food restaurants or the other restaurants that prepare sandwiches and prepare other foods. And that is why you have to be very careful. Pay attention to the restaurants you eat from. It's very important because you don't want to infect yourself with a lot of bacteria and viruses. Some people who are infected may not have symptoms at all, but may still pass the bacteria to others. Frequent and careful hand washing with soap and water and taking other hygiene measures stops the spread of this bacteria. The next pathogen is called E. coli. Yes, there are hundreds of strains of E. coli bacteria, most of which exist harmlessly in humans' intestines. However, certain strains are toxic and produce a serious infection that causes bloody diarrhea and sometimes kidney failure. Of course, we all know what diarrhea is. Yes, it's when feces are discharged through the bowel frequently and in a liquid form. Now, what makes it bloody? Because it's a bloody diarrhea. It is the same thing as normal diarrhea, but this time you have blood mixed with stool. I mean, bloody diarrhea is a potentially critical condition in which there is blood mixed with loose or watery stool. That's what bloody diarrhea is. And you can prevent yourself and everyone around you who are eating the food from being exposed to E. coli by making sure that all grounded beef and other meat products are thoroughly cooked. You also want to prevent these bacteria by following personal hygiene, especially procedure outlined for washing your hands. Next is Salmonella Typhoid. Salmonella Typhoid. Salmonella typhoid is a bacteria found in many foods such as raw and uncooked meat, poultry, dairy products, and shellfish. Salmonella is a bacterium, infects the intestine and causes diarrhea, fever, and abdominal cramps 12 to 72 hours after infection. Even though the illness lasts for 4 to 7 days and people recover without treatment, it is not a good idea to get infected with this bacteria. So for those of you that eat half-done steak, fish, or chicken, you are at risk for the illness caused by salmonella. So be careful. Be careful of what you eat, especially at the restaurants. Cook your meat well, at least to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, that will kill the bacteria in it. 145 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what will kill the bacteria. And the similar pathogens is called non-typhoidal Salmonella. Non-typhoidal Salmonella are gram-negative bacteria that primarily cause gastroenteritis, bacteremia, and focal infection. These bacteria are one of the leading causes of bacterial diarrhea worldwide. Worldwide, not in one country or certain country, all over the world. And it's known for its ability to colonize solid or semi-solid tumors more efficiently than any other bacteria. Anyone with this bacteria will show symptoms like diarrhea, high fever with prostration, or symptoms of focal infection. It is good to know that antimicrobial treatment of non-typhoidal Salmonella gastroenteritis is usually advocated for infants younger than 3 months of age. Why? Because infants in this age group are more prone to have bacteremia and develop intraintestinal focal infection conditions like sickle cell anemia, royal fever, malaria, and more. And another thing I want you to pay attention to, and I want you to know today, is loose-borne relapsing fever, cirrhosis, leukemia, lymphoma, and HIV infection are all risk factors for salmonella infection. So if you have all these problems going on in your life, you are likely to be at risk for this infection, for salmonella. Yes. People with HIV, with leukemia, blood cancer, lymphoma, loose-borne relapsing fever, splenectomy, and more. They are all at risk for salmonella infection. The only way to prevent this bacteria, of course, you get this bacteria, if it's not taken care on time, you get sick. The only way to prevent this, again, you must cook your poultry, your ground beef, and egg thoroughly before eating. Yes. Do not eat or drink food containing raw eggs or raw unpasteurized milk. At least to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, you must cook your meal. Especially beef, pork, this poultry, all these meats, you must make sure you give them thorough cooking. Well done. Sometimes ago, someone asked me if drinking uncooked egg is okay. I just told you what will happen if you do so. If you drink raw milk, uncooked milk, you may likely have a bacteria called Non-typhoidal Salmonella. Yes. So you have to be very, very careful. And if you are served uncooked meat, poultry, or egg in a restaurant, don't hesitate to send it back to the kitchen for further cooking. Tell them, take it back to the kitchen, go and recook it. Make it well done. When I go to the restaurants, I tell them, I want fish, I want this, I want that, anything meat. And the meat, the category of meat is beef, the poultry, the seafood. And when you are in seafood, you have fish, you have shrimp, you have crabs, that is seafood. And when it's poultry, you have chicken, you have fowl, you have peacock, you have all those things. And the beef is the cow, the sheep, the ram, the goat. These are all meats. If you order for any of these at restaurants and they bring it, you see the blood coming out, send it back to the kitchen to go and recook it. Let them recook it and make sure that it's well done. Any of these food, meat or egg, cooked halfway can cause bacteria which can make you get sick. Yes. Don't be afraid. It's your money. You are paying for it. Tell them to cook it the way you want it. Don't make sure that your meat must not look pink. Not pink in the middle at all. No blood coming out. It should be well done. Yes. Next pathogen is viruses. Viruses that can cause foodborne illnesses are Norovirus. Yes. Norovirus is a major cause of illness and outbreak from contaminated food in this US. Yes. Most of these outbreaks occur in the food service setting, like restaurants. Yes, we have discussed something like this before on this show when I had a guest coming to teach us on foodborne. We mentioned some of the food companies that got locked up because of what? Because of foodborne caused by their products. You see, infected people, such as food workers, are frequently the source of the outbreaks, often by touching ready-to-eat food, such as raw fruits and vegetables, with their bare hands before serving them. They touch food anyhow. That is why I saw something on Instagram recently where a lady is, she was, advertising, advertising her products, her business. And this is beef, cow, cut out. They were cooking it. We were still in the pot cooking. And I saw a lady putting hands, just hands without gloves, touching the cooked meat. No, you cannot do that. Anybody that wants to cook for, anybody that is more than yourself, you are serving more people. So you must wear gloves, even if it's the one you are cooking in the house for the family. You must make sure that your hands are thoroughly washed, cleaned, or in the absence of soap and water, you can use sanitizer to sanitize your hands. You don't just touch the food. Of course, this food is still cooking. There can be anything we call cross-contamination in that moment. Yes, cross-contamination means that you are transferring bacteria from raw food to cooked one. Uncooked food, the bacteria that is still on, because there are a lot of meat that is not yet cooked, and the one that is cooking, you're touching this and you're touching this. You can just cause cross-contamination right there, because the bacteria in that uncooked meat can be transferred into the cooked one. That's what cross-contamination is, and that's what you want to avoid, because you don't want to get sick. When you serve people with this food, that's why you see a lot of people eating from outside and they started having stomach cramping, they're having diarrhea, because they have been poisoned with this food. It's not a local poison. I'm talking about, infection, virus that enter into your body, into your system through the food you eat that has been contaminated by someone who is so careless, who have no idea of what hygiene means. Yeah, food safety, they have no idea what food safety is all about. So anything you want to eat from outside, you have to be very careful. And I tell people, eating outside is not even advisable at all. There are a lot of benefits when you eat your food from your home, when you cook your food from your home. A lot of benefits. You save money. You also know the type of ingredients you are going to use. You will be able to measure them. Yes. You will know what you eat. Whether it's good or healthy or bad, you will know it. There are a lot of benefits in cooking from home. Home cooking is one of the primary food that I've been advocating for. Home cooking. This is the way you can avoid it. You can avoid norovirus by eating in your home. It prevents a lot of health hazard out there. It prevents you from any bacteria from getting infected. It protects you. Next virus is called rotavirus. Rotavirus is an inflammatory and intestine condition. It is a contagious virus that causes inflammation of the stomach and intestine, leading to diarrhea. And what are the signs? You see signs like vomiting, watery diarrhea that can last from 3 to 8 days, loss of appetite and dehydration, crying without tears, and lastly, lethargy and irritability. This virus, oh my goodness, this virus, Norovirus, is spread through feces shed from a sick person to another into the environment. Let me tell you, you can contract it when rotavirus is spread through feces shed from a sick person to another and into the environment. If you have the norovirus, you can spread it to another person and the person will spread it in the community. Yes, and it is spread easily among infants and young children. The shed virus enters the susceptible person's mouth to cause infection. And this virus is spread by contaminated hands, food, objects, and water. How do you prevent it? Yes, how do you prevent this virus? How do you stop it from spreading or from contracting it? Of course, good hygiene like washing hands after visiting the bathroom. Yes. Or washroom. Another way to prevent it is oral vaccination to protect children. And lastly, proper cooking of meals to kill the strain. Yes, we need to cook our food thoroughly. And as a food, you cannot cook more than, I'll get there, I'll tell you the degree you can put some food in a minute. The next one is hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is very contagious as well. It's a contagious virus. Yes. While it travels in feces, it can easily spread from person to person. It can be contracted from food or water. 30,000 to 50,000 cases of hepatitis A recorded in the US every year. That's the US alone. And we're not talking about other countries. And this is attributed to raw or undercooked food, such as onions, oysters, or tomatoes, and to water contaminated by sewage. Most often, a contaminated person transmits it through processing produce or preparing uncooked food. And these can also be prevented by following personal hygiene guidelines, such as proper hand washing, both before and after handling uncooked or raw foods. I want to advise here that please and please make sure you always wear gloves when handling or preparing ready to eat food. If you are a food server, such as caterer, chef, cook, whatever you are in the food industry, you must make sure you wear gloves when you are cooking, when you're preparing, when you're serving the food. Just from the preparation to cooking to serving, you have to wear gloves all through. You also want to make sure that the person serving you wear gloves, or you can tell the person to do so if they don't. If you go to Africa today, you see a lot of restaurants where their servers are not wearing gloves. They are not protecting their hands. So you can tell them it is your money. Again, you're paying for it. It is your money and your health they are taking away from you if you don't tell them. Because you get sick in the end. So why don't you tell them now? Or you stop eating out if you are not the type that can tell people to do right thing. I tell people when I go to the restaurant, if I don't see things going right, I speak out. My profession, I can talk. And I will also educate you in that area. Yes. Now, how do you prevent these illnesses caused by these big C's? How do you prevent salmonella? How do you prevent viruses, all these hepatitis, all these Rotavirus, and so on? How do you prevent them? This is where we are going. This is what we advocate for. Prevention, primary prevention. We want to stop it now. We don't want it to happen at all. That's what we stand for. So now, how do you prevent these illnesses caused by these big C's? Big C's. I want you to pay attention. Of course, following proper hand washing procedure is number one. Such as you want to follow 5 steps to wash your hands the right way. You want to wet your hands with clean running water, and in fact, warm water. You want to lather your hands by rubbing them together with water, with soap. You want to make sure that your hands bring out foam, is lathered right here. You want to wash your hands and you want to see foam. The soap you want to use must be the one that has foam. And you want to make sure you create lather in your hands. You want to scrub your hands thoroughly, at least 20 seconds. If you don't know how to measure your 20 seconds to get your 20 seconds while washing, you can as well sing happy birthday. Sing happy birthday twice. That will exactly give you 20 seconds of washing, of hand washing, I mean. You then want to rinse your hands well under clean and running water. You want to dry your hands using a clean towel or hair dryer or paper towel. You also want to use paper towel to turn off the tap. You know why you don't want to wash your hands and turn the tap and now dry your hands. No. If you do that, you can as well contract bacteria or virus from that tap. What you need to do after washing your hands, you want to dry your hands. The paper towel, the towel, whatever that is available for you to dry your hands, you want to do that. Then you want to take a paper towel to turn the tap off and throw the paper towel immediately in the bin, the garbage bin. Yes, because you don't want to contaminate your clean hands again with bacteria on the tap. That's why you want to use the paper to turn it off. And lastly, you want to use hand sanitizer when you can have access to soap and water. This is basically advising you to use sanitizer if you don't have water and soap available. Yes, this is it. I mean, hand washing is one of the best ways to protect yourself and the entire family, your entire family, from getting sick. Yes. The next thing you want to do, you want to follow cleansing and sanitation guidelines for equipment, utensils, and food contact surface. How do you do this? You want to make sure you clean or sanitize every equipment you are using. If you need to wash it, wash it. If you need to sanitize it. You need to cleanse them. Just like your utensils, your spoon, your knife, your fork, all this, your cutting board, everything you use in the kitchen, you want to clean them. You want to sanitize the one that need to be sanitized. Yes. And most importantly, your surface, your food contact surface, such as your countertop, you want to wipe them with antibacterial, products. You want to wipe it, you want to clean it before use and after. And briefly, let me tell you normal temperature for cooking your meal. If you are cooking your poultry, the stuffed fish, the stuffed meat, the stuffed pasta, you want to make sure that you put your oven or whatever you're using to cook it in 160 Fahrenheit. That is for poultry. The fish, the meat, the pasta can go for 165 Fahrenheit. If you are cooking meat, ground meat, I mean, raw eggs and food containing raw eggs, such as sandwich, that you're going to put the eggs, you want to put your oven in 155 Fahrenheit. You also want to put your cooking gadgets, your oven, in 145 Fahrenheit for raw shell eggs cooked to other fish and single pieces of meat, such as beef, lamb, or pork. Yes. 135 Fahrenheit goes for fruits and vegetables that are cooked for hot holding. And lastly, any food cooked in a microwave or oven must be cooked to 165 degrees. That's the highest. Any food cooked in a microwave oven must be cooked 165 degrees, because that's the highest that can kill the bacteria. Yes. And you want to do something amazing for yourself. You want to check food temperature with the appropriate type of thermometer. The thermometer must be checked appropriately every time. Practicing proper personal hygiene is actually an attitude of preventing both your life and others from illness which can cause untreatable health problems or death. So save yourself and others today. We're going to stop here today, people. Until next week, we'll bring you another information on health and nutrition. I'm Bofa, the nutrition health specialist advocating for healthy living. Sleep well, my love, and wake up to a fresh day tomorrow. See you next week. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. God bless you. Good night. Bye. Thank you.